Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new. I'm Mindy. This is See Mindy Mom, and this is another week of What's for Dinner. I'll start by inserting a clip right here of what I did last night with a little voiceover. Hey you guys, tonight I made a chuck roast in the crock pot. I've made this recipe many times and shared it here. I'll leave it linked in the description box. And to go along with that, I am making one of my childhood favorites. My mother used to make this when I was a kid. It's called beef barley bake, and I'm going to leave the recipe right here. You can take a screenshot of it or copy it down if you want. And she and I, though, take the shortcut, and we just put the barley in the pan with the consomme soup and the butter and pop it into the oven at 350 for 45 minutes to an hour. You kind of need to check it because regular barley I can't find anymore, so this is quick barley, so I watch it. I did not have 2 cans of consomme, so I just used some of the broth from the roast, and it worked out great. And then I had some extra fine green beans in the freezer. And how I make my green beans when they're frozen like this is I go ahead and put them in a pot with some water and bring it to a boil. And you can cook them to whatever firmness you like. I let mine boil for probably 4 or 5 minutes, and then I drain them. And then to my pot, I add a tablespoon or 2 of butter and let that melt. And then I will toss the green beans with the butter along with maybe some garlic, salt, and pepper and a little bit of breadcrumbs, like maybe a couple of tablespoons or so of breadcrumbs just to give them some flavor. Give those a good toss, and that is how I make my green beans whenever I'm making them from frozen. And here it is, all plated up. That's my roast in the crock pot, and the barley, which was delicious, and the green beans, and then I had some watermelon that I chopped up to go along with it, and that's what was for dinner. So tonight I had planned to use the leftover roast beef to have for dinner, and I was just going to throw some baked potatoes in the oven and have it on baked potatoes, but I'm going to push that tomorrow because hubby said, you know what, I really just want to walk down to this restaurant that's within walking distance of our back gate and have some dinner, and the kids were super excited about that. We start school day after tomorrow, so it's kind of like a last little summer hurrah. And you know, that's just the way we got to work it sometimes, right? I always try to be real on this channel. I don't have super professional what's for dinner videos or any super professional videos. I just try to give you guys a glimpse into what our life is like. So this is what we're doing tonight. We changed the plan. We're gonna walk down and have kind of a casual dinner out, enjoy the 95-degree walk, and that's what's for dinner tonight. Hey guys, it is Monday night. It's the night before school starts, the night before the first day of school, and this mom is tired. So I did the easy thing. I did what I was gonna do last night when we decided to go out to eat instead, and I threw some baked potatoes in the oven, and we're just having baked potatoes with the leftover meat from Saturday. And I've got some bell peppers here on the stove that are sauteing and just a little bit of olive oil, and that's what we're gonna have tonight for dinner. Just keeping it simple, just baked potatoes, leftover meat, the fixins however people wanted it, and some veggies on the side. Okay, Miss Ruthie is helping me in the kitchen tonight. We are making dinner, and we are making this cracked out chicken bubble up. I've made this before, and she is stirring together some cooked chicken breast, which I cooked in the crock pot over there all day and then just shredded it, and 8 ounces of sour cream and a can of cream of chicken soup and some ranch seasoning. And then she's going to fold in these biscuits, which she chopped up. It calls for just a 12-ounce can of biscuits, and I had a 16-ounce can, so we just left 2 out, and we'll just bake those up, and the kids can have them for breakfast. And then we will put that into a casserole dish and top it with some cheese and some crumbled up bacon, which I have cooking in the microwave and in the oven right now. And that's going to be what's for dinner tonight, along with some asparagus. So Ruthie's helping me out in the kitchen to make dinner and get it ready, and I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. Okay, guys, this is dinner tonight. I have some of the casserole on my plate. This is the bubble up casserole, and then I just made some asparagus. I make my asparagus by blanching it first. That's where I boil it for a couple minutes and then immediately put it in ice water, and then take it out and let it dry on paper towels. And then I saute it in just a couple teaspoons of olive oil, salt and pepper. That's it. And that's what's for dinner tonight. Tonight I am making some chicken Caesar salads with some of the leftover shredded chicken I made the other day. And so I'm going to make a salad dressing from scratch. And I made this a while back. It is from the website saltandlavender.com. I'll leave it linked in the description box below. But I'm going to use my scale to measure out a lot of these ingredients, starting with the garlic and then some mayonnaise and some Dijon mustard and some lemon juice as well. Some of the things I measured and some of the things I just kind of guessed, like the tablespoon or whatever it is of Worcestershire sauce that you put in. I just gave it a good shake. Some salt and pepper, freshly cracked. And then it's going to call for some sour cream, just a little bit. You don't have to have a lot on hand for this. And then I actually put some Parmesan cheese in it. That's what the recipe calls for in the dressing. I'm going to give that a good stir, and I went ahead and added a few teaspoons of water to my dressing because I like it a little bit thinner. But I'm going to stir that up, and then I'll put it in the fridge until I'm ready to make up my salads. I also made a loaf of bread in my bread maker. They don't always look very pretty. Sometimes they don't rise correctly or something like that, but they still taste wonderful and make excellent toast. And I just use the recipes that came with my bread maker. There's all kinds of different recipes in there. This is just the basic white bread recipe, and my kids really like this. They like to toast it with a little bit of butter. They eat the leftovers for breakfast the next day. But here it is, all plated up, just a really simple dinner tonight. I had the chicken and the romaine lettuce that I wanted to use up, so that salad dressing was absolutely delicious. My husband even mentioned it. He said it was phenomenal, that he wants me to make that again. And I just served it with some of the toast on the side, which I put a little butter on, and it was nice and warm and fresh, and it was so delicious. Hey you guys, welcome back. It is Saturday. And I'm in the kitchen and I am looking around. Here it is for my recipe. I'm going to attempt something new tonight. It is called sausage and grits, and it's basically like a sausage and veggie like stir fry type thing over some cheese grits, and I just thought that sounded really good. Now I will say that this recipe is a little more involved, and so it's not something that I can make on like a regular weeknight or something when I'm pressed for time, but on a Saturday night when I want to spend a little time in my kitchen and sip on a cocktail or a glass of wine or something while I cook, it seems like a good one to try. So I'm going to give it a try. It is from the website sugarspiceslife.com, and I'll leave it linked in the description box. But I'm going to go ahead and chop up all of my veggies because it calls for different color peppers and onions, and I'm going to get that all ready before I start to put it together. And then I'll show you guys what I'm doing. So to make the grits, I start with some milk and some water, and then you bring that to a boil with some salt as well. And once you have it at a boil, you add the grits, and I cook them for about 15 minutes. And when they're done cooking, I will add the butter and the cheese and stir that into the grits. And then I just pop the lid on it to keep them warm while I was cooking the rest of the dish. To make the sauce with the veggies and the meat that goes with it, it starts with some bacon, and so I just put 5 pieces of bacon into my skillet, and I let that cook until it's done to crispy for me, and then I just removed that to a plate with some paper towels on it and set that aside. And I'm going to use the same pan that the bacon cooked in with the bacon grease to cook the chopped peppers and the onions as well. And you are also supposed to add some chopped garlic at this point, but I forgot. But I'm going to let those cook along with a little bit of lemon juice and also some Old Bay seasoning. And I'll just put that all into the pan where the bacon cooked with the bacon grease and stir it up and let it cook for a few minutes until the veggies are done and the onions are translucent. And then you have to remove this to another plate. This is one of the things that I think I didn't care for about this recipe. There's a lot of steps to it. But I removed the veggies to a different plate. And now I'm going to make a roux to put the veggies and the meat in to go on top of the grits. And so I start by melting some butter and adding some water and some salt. And then I'm going to whisk in a 1/4 cup of flour and give that a really good stir so that there aren't any clumps, and let it sit over medium heat until it starts to bubble and thicken. Then I'm going to add some seasonings to this, starting with garlic powder. And this is where I realized that I had forgotten to add the minced garlic to the veggies, and so I just added some extra garlic powder, along with some cayenne pepper and a little bit of Worcestershire sauce and some Tabasco sauce. I'm going to go ahead and stir that in. I'm going to keep whisking it over medium heat until it thickens and starts to bubble. And when that's done, I'm going to add the veggies back in along with the smoked sausage, which is already cooked. So I didn't bother browning that because it's fully cooked sausage already, and the bacon as well. And so I will stir that into the sauce. And then when you are ready to eat this, you just plate some of the veggie and meat mixture with the sauce over the top of the cheese grits. And this is what it looks like all plated up. And I have to be honest with you guys, this was just kind of okay for us. Maybe it's because I used turkey smoked sausage instead of andouille sausage, which is what the recipe calls for. I'm not sure. But I don't think I'll be making this again because for the amount of time and work that it took, it just wasn't that great for us. It was okay, we'll eat it, but it just wasn't, out of this world or anything. So that's what I have for you guys this week. That is what's for dinner. Thanks so much for stopping by, and be sure to come back for another what's for dinner video next week, and be sure to check out our other videos, grocery hauls and meal plans, and what I eat in a day videos, and so much more. We would love for you guys to become a part of our YouTube family, so be sure to hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and we'll check in with you guys again next time. Bye.